We good?
Right, I believe I managed to get it working again. I believe that means that we're live. If we are, please let us know in the YouTube chat. Henry Catchpole, thank you for joining me.
Hello, Drew Stern.
And there we
It's
go. And
good to
now
be
we're
back,
up.
isn't it?
Now we're up on
Another
screen.
quiz.
Another quiz, yes. There was a great response to the last one. If you were involved in the last one, thank you very much. It's great to have you back. I know there's a couple of you who've already reported online to say that you'd be participating again in the quiz. Another quiz written by Henry Catchpole. Henry, thank you so much again for putting that together for us. That's a great privilege. It's a privilege not to have to do the work, is what I'm saying.
Well, there we are. Yeah, it's kind of it's fun putting it together. I'm quite enjoying this now. So the fact we've gone to 3 rounds of cars is sort of even more enjoyable for me. Therefore, sort of talking about something or setting questions and stuff.
Yes.
I like a bit more about.
It's nice that we've still got general knowledge as well as car stuff in there. So there is, if you are watching with someone who isn't massively a car fanatic, their extra input is going to be very helpful. We're seeing comments coming in already. Hello from the USA. Hello in Texas. I have a lot of family in Texas. I spent a lot of time in Houston. So thank you for our viewers from Texas. Whereabouts in Texas? Please let us know. We've got a little bit of time. We're going to get the quiz rolling in about 25 minutes. We're just going to hang out here for a little bit, give people a bit of time to join in. Henry and Drew. Yes. Yeah. Introduce myself. I'm Drew, the other person on Carfection. But obviously, Henry's the person that you, Dallas, California, Canada, and from Reading. All the way from Reading, a good 60 miles away from where I am right now. And India. Oh, wow. We've already got yes, Reading, UK. I figured it was Reading, UK, not Reading, Pennsylvania. Although I bet you there's a Reading in Pennsylvania. Just to pick a city, a state. Ireland as well. Chicago. I love Chicago. This whole lockdown thing, one of the things I'm really regretting is not being able to travel to the States as much as I used to. And Chicago, I think, is my favorite US city. Do you have a favorite US city, Henry?
Oh, I've only been to New York twice actually, and did love that when I went. Oh, I also love Detroit. Weirdly, sort of the most show there is always at the sort of always was at the sort of worst time of year really, and freezing cold. But there's just something about it that feels. I don't know. I really liked it. So yeah.
I mean, Detroit has its charm. I will say, wow, I think we've had most of the home nations already say, check in. Northern Ireland, hello, Scotland, Belgium, Essex, Kuwait. We've got fans in Kuwait, Henry. The fine state of Kuwait. I've never been to Kuwait.
We have fans all over the world.
We do indeed. I stopped off in Kuwait once on my way I flew with Kuwait Air to go to Thailand. I'm sure Kuwait is a lovely country, but Kuwait Air is not the best airline I've ever been on. But to be honest, right now, I would take the worst airline because we can't go anywhere. I hope lockdown is treating you all. Tunisia. Oh, I've never been to Tunisia. Hello from Berlin. I love Berlin. One of my favorite cities in the entire world. It is crazy. There's Germany and there's Berlin. Very different places. Bavaria. Another part of Germany that I also very much like. Oh, this is so good to see so many people coming in. There is a link in the description. It's ahaslides.com/CFquiz2. Get your device, phone, tablet, laptop, whatever, pointing at that URL. Get ready. We will be starting the quiz in about 20 minutes, but get yourselves ready. That would be great. How have you been keeping, Henry, in the last couple of weeks?
All right, thank you. Yes, yeah, it's kind of getting more and more surreal, really. So he's getting used to the new normal, but then it feels odd that we might be able to go back to work at some point fairly soon in terms of actually testing cars. But still trying to work that out. So logistically, got a new t-shirt.
It's very nice. Yes, it's. We saw you post about that on social media. I'm sure all of you are already following Henry on social media at Henry Catchpole across all of the social media. I do encourage you to do so. He does like to show off when he has a new t-shirt, like he does now, and you can get the scoop, as it were, on those t-shirts. It is getting quite surreal. We're not quite ready to say when we're going back to work, but there's light at the end of the tunnel on that front. So stay put for some interesting news on that front. That's not to say that we haven't had decent stuff going up on the channel so far. There is a Reading City in Pennsylvania, apparently. I just picked a state at random, and there was. We usually like to just. Well, Henry likes it if I tell him what we want to discuss on these things ahead of time, and I'm going to bring up something that I haven't told him. But I've got.
No.
I want to. So I'm not very much into motorcycles. I would like to be, but I'm not. I don't ride them. I don't know much about them. I know that they're cool, and I want to ride them. But I do have something quite interesting down here. I'm just going to grab it.
Okay. I'm worried now. What is this? Oh, that looks very good indeed.
Yes, this was courtesy.
I've seen that being released.
Yeah, Lego sent me this in the mail, which was very nice of them. So I'll be putting that together at some point soon. Where is it? There you go.
That is excellent.
Yeah, that's the Ducati Pagnale V4R, which I have on good authority is a lot of fun to ride, and it remains to see if it is a lot of fun to build. If any of you would like to see me build that, let me know. Either we'll do it live or record it, put something on. Should have got the Lego Senate. Yeah. But
I have got that. I've built that.
There you go. Have you got it to hand to show the people?
No, I haven't. Next time we do this, I'll make sure it's here.
And this is why we discuss what we're going to discuss ahead of time. But we do want to bring up a couple of things that have been out on the channel recently. And Henry, you summed up some of your favorite stuff. I don't know the exact date, but you're coming into about 3 years on Carfection now. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. Very nearly 3 years now.
Yeah. And there's been a lot of interesting stuff in that time. And Henry, tell us about the video that you put together talking about some of your favorite shots.
Well, we thought as lockdown, it would be a nice time to sort of reflect a bit and look back over some of my favorite shots that we've done. So not necessarily entire films, but just sort of individual things that perhaps came out in the edit or just things I really, really liked. So one of which was, in fact, the very first shot that I ever did with Charlie for Carfection about 3 years ago for the McLaren 570S Spider launch near Barcelona, and it was on a gimbal and walking around the car, and just it's nice. People seem to really like this behind the scenes stuff, so we will do some more of these as well. I picked a few drone shots in there as well because I love a good drone shot.
Who doesn't like a good drone shot?
Used correctly, they're really, really great, particularly because I love when we go to these fabulous roads, and I love a road trip and finding a really cool piece of road, and there's pretty much no better way of showing them off than with a drone. So that and a sideways shot in Lotus 3, old Lotus 300. Love a sideways shot. This was slow-mo as well, and it's just the right angle for the car and that sort of thing, and it was quite neat and sort of picked up the curb just so I like that. So hopefully we'll do a few more of those in future. I've done already recorded one about my favorite films, but not sort of picking necessarily the big hits, which hopefully most of you will have already seen. So looking back over some that you might have missed, but I still really, really like. And some more favorite shots of the things recorded for the future as well. And we've got still got a couple more reviews of cars to come out as well. So that's good.
We actually have one that's on Friday, actually, that's scheduled to come out, a certain Ferrari that you drove. Maybe you want to, we can't show any clips from it because we're keeping that under wraps until it's live, but that was the 488 Pista. I think we finally got a chance to put you in one, which was great. To be clear, this was shot a while ago, before lockdown. It's worth mentioning. So shot without any restrictions on us. Whereabouts was that filmed, Henry?
That was filmed up in Yorkshire, and it was the weather was fairly fickle, so we only had a day with it, but it was the car is, I don't give too much away. We almost didn't do a review on it because it was so far after everyone else had got in it, but then I think it's actually nice coming to these cars sometimes after they've been out for a while, because you can put them in context a bit more rather than just, I obviously compare it to the 458 Speciale, and hopefully my take on it is slightly not different, but just it's been giving me a chance to get sort of more thoughts on it together. So I think it's a really cool film. Charlie's done a lovely job with the edit as well. Actually, I just saw somebody in the comments say what was my favorite Goodwood Festival speed moment, and we have got a couple of films coming up on some stuff that I did shoot at Goodwood a few years ago as well, which has never seen the light of day before, so we thought we would put those out as well. A couple of very cool cars, including an Eagle E-Type and a fairly special Ferrari, slightly older than the 488 Pista, but we'll save that for another time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's some exciting stuff, and it's nice to have like a proper, as we call it, AAA film going up on the channel even during lockdown, which is very exciting indeed. Can highly recommend that. In terms of films that went out recently, we already talked about Henry's film, Summing Up His Best Shots. On Friday, we put out a film which was the last film I did before lockdown. Now, last time I did this on the quiz, I switched over to us looking at a film and I cut the audio. So if that happens again, let us know in the comments straight away. I believe I fixed it, but who knows? Who knows entirely? Let's start that running there. This is all new territory. Did it happen again? Did I manage to cut the audio absolutely again? Every time I think I've got this live broadcasting thing figured out, I broke it again. I'm just the worst. No, it's fine. Now we're back. Let's talk about my technical incompetence for doing live broadcasting. There seems to be an absolute army of YouTubers who can figure this out, who are like a fraction of my age and can do it on a dime. And for some reason, when I actually try and do something, it goes horribly, horribly wrong every time and we lose the audio. Suffice to say, you're just going to have to watch it on the YouTube channel if you want to see it. But Ice Force Pro is an institution up in Finnish Lapland where you get to learn and or stretch your abilities ice driving. And it's not just out on ice, because the ice driving I've done previously, I've just been on like a flat ice course, which is just on a frozen lake where they just put out some cones and you go around it, which is fun. But this is an actual track, not just one track, about 27 different tracks over 76 acres of Finnish forest, where they've plowed down the snow, compressed it, added water each night, let it refreeze, and then compressed it further. So this is the first 3 months of like late autumn into winter time where they're really getting heavy snow. And by that point, it is just dense ice, like really, really thick ice. But it's crafted so it can have undulations and it can have altitude shifts, and so you get a proper racetrack but on ice. And Porsche offer you the chance to do that in a variety of cars, and I got to do that in a Carrera 4S, a 911 GT3, a 718 Cayman GT4 Club Sport, and a Taycan. And the film kind of looks at how whether or not electric cars can still be fun to drive in an environment where you're just driving to have fun. Like literally, there is nothing practical about that whatsoever. There is, you could say, you're learning about car control in difficult circumstances. No, it's just for fun, just pure fun. And can an electric car still be fun like that? Yeah, accelerating in a straight line is fun. That's that's a bit of a thrill, but that's for not wanting to off-put some of our intercontinental viewers. But it's a bit American, just accelerating in a straight line and seeing how far you can go. And we like bends over in Europe. We're massive benders. That's not what I meant to say. We like curves. Henry would like to distance himself from that comment. No, we like to go around things a little bit more bendy.
Anyway, moving swiftly onwards, what did you think of, because you drove the GT4 Club Sport?
GT4 Club Sport, yeah. This was a fully race spec car. So roll cage, I had to wear a hands device, the whole lot. And it's they'd also put it on 5mm studs, so we're on smaller studs for the rest, so I got extra grip. And it was fantastic. I mean, because I'd been driving the Carrera 4S and the 911 GT3 up to that point. So you're dealing with the rear engine car, and especially when you're working with that much movement in the chassis, you really you feel that weight being on the back, and that undulation, and then moving to a mid-engine car, you realize that under such difficult circumstances, how well balanced that car is, and that you can't use the acceleration as much and you can't put as much of the power down. But it was just such a thrill to drive. It was definitely the most exciting out of all the cars that we had on offer. Not the best environment to be critical of it in terms of its full capability as a car and as a race car, but you had the opportunity to drive another version of that car where it was possible for you to, or at least have someone else be really put it through its paces. Do you want to talk the viewers through that?
Well, so I think you're referring to the GTS 4 litre,
yeah,
which is yes, it's a sort of the baby of that 6-cylinder Cayman range now, which is it's really it is a fantastic car because it's pretty much most of what you get in the GT4. You get 20 brake horsepower less, but you get the same torque. It's about £11,000 less than the GT4. Different suspension setup, so that's on the limit. Yes, you can feel that, and it's it's just a fantastic thing because the whole thing about the fact the engine is just brilliant, and it is exactly the same as you get in the GT4. So it feels like the GTS is back in where it should be. Cayman is it now. It's basically pretty much the best value sports car I think out there. Really, yes, you can get the GT4 then, and you do a lot of track days and stuff. Definitely, it is better. But it's pretty amazing how much of the GT4 is in the 4 litre. And I was at Estoril for the launch, and we got your Bergmeister to sit in the car for us and take us around for a few laps, so we could do some proper point of view film, because he's really good in the car. He's really quite sort of aggressive, and he gets a lot of movement into the car. He's not perhaps the smoothest. He really hustles the car, which I love watching. And
there is something in that, watching someone. It for all intents, how the car's moving. If it was me, that would be me like dying inside, like in so much fear. But it's just an effortless hustle. Like it's moving the car around, but like completely in control, but on the absolute edge. That's what real racing drivers are, right? Like absolutely on the edge, but still in control.
And it was fascinating as well, seeing it was wet when we went out, and so we did a few laps, and seeing his approach to the different sort of wet line and stuff as well, which is always fascinating. I think it's something I've never quite got to grips with on circuit driving. Probably haven't done that much of it, but I'm always fascinated by the wet line and trying to find it, and the karting lines. It's sometimes cool. So yeah, that was fascinating as well.
Yeah, the wet line is an exotic land that I will rarely visit successfully. I have difficulty on the dry line, finding it, staying on it. Let alone, I think the last time I drove in the wet, I put a BMW M4 in the wall at Brands Hatch. Yeah. And that was,
right.
I was coming.
Actually, I love driving the wet. Actually, it's always suited me. I think because I've never been the last of the late breakers, so I always struggle. Sort of, I lose time under braking in the dry, sort of not too much, but just a bit. And obviously in the wet, that's sort of you're not braking to such a heavy degree. So it always sort of suits me a bit more, and I just love the feeling of balancing the car right on the limit in the wet. So. Yeah.
So while everyone else is kind of going straight off on the bends, you're just tucking in behind and overtaking people in the wet.
I didn't say that, but I enjoy it.
No, I am not the last of the late breakers. I was actually mentally running through the list of all the tracks that I've had offs over the years. I was just flicking through YouTube, and I'd watched. I was watching like an old Top Gear bit where they were at Ascari. And had an off there, and I was thinking, what other tracks have I had an off? And it's a depressingly long list. It's worth reminding everyone that we'll be going to ahaslides.com/CF quiz 2. In fact, let me just put it up on the screen so people can see it. So there you go. join us there very, very shortly, just a few minutes away, and we're going to get the quiz started. I realize I made a bit of a mistake, and some people were waiting over on the wrong. I'm definitely not the only person who's put an M4 into the wall in the wet. No, I probably am not, but I'm meant to be a professional, and it's just bad form. We will be starting the quiz in just over 5 minutes' time. Get yourself a drink, get yourself comfortable, bring together all the people that you are allowed to be near while observing social distancing, so you have as many brains as possible. You will be asked for a username, and then we will go into the quiz, which this time also includes a picture round. Henry has pulled out all the stops for you people, and I hope you're grateful for it. There is a picture round. Get your eyes sorted. And it's also one of those things that's impossible to Google. Remember, if you want to Google the answers, you can, but you get points for being the fastest. It's multiple choice, so there's always worth a go, always worth a guess if you don't know the answer. But the quicker you answer correctly, the quicker you can score points. The Nürburgring crash compilations are full of BMWs. Oh, yes, because I believe I have watched every single one of them. I spent way, way, way too much of my time watching those compilation videos. It's dangerous viewing because you just get stuck in going, watch the most horrific crashes on the Nürburgring. Went, oh, human suffering? Yes, click. And then you just start watching that because I'm a horrible person.
Talking of crashing in Germany, should we talk about Sebastian Vettel?
Yes, so I feel I took my eye off the F1 news for like a day and a half, and everything changed. Do you want to run us through everything that's happening at the moment? Because I think there might be some people watching who haven't been paying attention to that as well.
Well, Sebastian Vettel is leaving Ferrari at the end of this year, so we obviously still don't know what is going to happen this season in terms of racing. Yeah, he's off. We don't know where to yet. Red Bull has said that he won't go back there because they can't afford two top line drivers, and they're quite happy with Max Verstappen. Thanks very much.
They've got a pretty solid lineup of young drivers on the way up. They have no need for someone who's already proven himself there. 4 world championships at Red Bull. There's no reason for him to go back.
No. So it looks like it's been pretty much confirmed that Carlos Sainz Jr. will be replacing Vettel at Ferrari. So that's it's a big step for him. He's obviously he's been in F1 a surprisingly long time for somebody that's only 25. Obviously started off at Toro Rosso, then went to Renault, then he's been at McLaren with Lando Norris, and now after Ferrari. So then that obviously opens up the seat at McLaren. The rumours are that Daniel Ricciardo is going to go to McLaren from Renault, so he will have had his 2 years there. That should be quite an interesting pairing, I think, Lando Norris and Daniel Ricciardo, because they're obviously both, really good fun, basically, and sort of very good on social media. Both sort of jokers, obviously both very quick. Lando Norris has been doing an awful lot of e-racing during the lockdown.
He's good value.
Yes,
good entertainment.
It's that should be quite a good team, I think. There has been chat about Alonso coming back to McLaren as well. I kind of hope he doesn't. I'm, a big fan, but I think he stepped away from it. It's let some other younger guys come through and have
It's very rare that a Formula One driver will leave, come back, and do anything of particular note. I think it's virtually unheard of for that a driver to do that and actually come back and make more of a splash than they did when they were initially in there. And he's got a world championship. He's got nothing to prove. There's no point in him coming back. And it really does feel like, especially with Vettel leaving, that it does feel like F1 is shedding that. Kimi was out last year, and it's like out to Ferrari, and it's shedding that layer of the older drivers. I mean, older drivers. These guys are still younger than me. It just makes me feel old. But there is so much talent in that early 20s grouping that shedding a couple of those in their mid to late 30s, it feels like it's time. But it was a surprise. I mean, Seb Vettel, it felt like he really wanted to get that championship. I think he came third like 3 times. Sorry, he came second 3 times.
Second. He was very close, particularly. I mean, 2018 was the year he really probably should have. I mean, arguably 2017, 2018, he had a better car than certainly at the start of the season. And then it was 2018 that he sort of really just imploded, and the crash I referred to earlier is obviously the one where he went off in the stadium section of Hockenheim. With it just started raining, and it was, as he said, a small mistake with big consequences. And it really did look like that. But there was that incident where he drove into Lewis in Azerbaijan when they were behind the safety car, and that was just, it showed a lot of frustration. Vettel, I think, he's a fantastic driver. Clearly, he made the double diffuser work incredibly well for him when he won his championships, but it hasn't been great since then.
He's a weird character. I think there's a very different person in and out of the car. He's one of those people who's like very funny, very entertaining, charismatic, very interesting person, very passionate about what he does, but doesn't take it too seriously in that moment. But in the car, he can be petulant and he can be immature. In all the worst ways. Whereas, say, someone like Lewis Hamilton, who's more of an even keel across the way, he's not massively great value out of the car. He gets passionate, but he's got far less of a attenuation than Seb Vettel does. But we like that. We like that in Formula One. A bit of character, a bit of flair. Max Verstappen has that as well. But yeah, it's
quite a few people in the comments saying Alonso to Renault, which would be certainly be interesting to see him go back there, try and win another championship with Renault. That would be pretty cool.
I think seeing.
Having just said that, I don't think he should go back.
No. Yeah, had that with Danny Ricciardo. I mean, it was interesting watching the Netflix series on Formula One, where you really got to see an interesting perspective on Danny Ricciardo's last season at Red Bull and then his first season at Renault, and then justifying that decision, going like, I feel it's the right thing. Like, I know the team will take a couple of years to get there. And then after 1.2 years, really only 1 year effectively of racing for them, he's like, nope, this is not going to work. Bail. And then he bails to a team which aren't exactly on their way up either. So
it kind of, they look like they might have been, but certainly last season didn't.
Yeah, it's
back to Vettel for a second. The one race I think that will always stand out for me with him is, in fact, before he joined Red Bull, when he was still at Toro Rosso, which obviously was effectively a Red Bull at the time. But that wet race in Monza, where he won, was just phenomenal. I remember him qualifying, and then in the race there, he just looked like he was on a completely different level to anyone else. And that was absolutely fabulous. That's if I'm asked in years to come to remember a Vettel race, that'll be the one that I remember.
Yeah, he has the talent, but it's about more than that to win championships. It's the right person in the right car, a certain amount of luck. Yes, but that's, obviously we'll be following that. We have started up a partnership with Formula One podcast. For F1's sake, some of you may already be subscribers to it. We were meant to be doing quite a bit with them, and then this happened. So hopefully, when we know more about what the season's going to do, we will be able to get back into it. I'm keeping an eye over on the Twitter, and I am enjoying seeing people already, without me having to ask, sending pictures of themselves watching the show. In particular, I'm going to murder this name again. Sondra B. Hoyen. I'm going to go with Hoyen. Is that right? Sondra B. Hoyen from Norway. He joined us last time. He had, as I recall, he had red wine last year. I'm just really, because I've got the pictures up from last time and again now. And he is ready to go again. No link to the quiz in the description, Charlie. I believe there is. So thank you very much for joining us. If you want to join in the quiz, we are about to start in the next minute or two, on your phone, on your tablet, on another device, or just in another browser. Go to AHA Slides. That's AHASLIDES. It should be on your screen at the top there. .com/CF quiz 2. That will take you right into directly into where the quiz is going to happen. The questions will come at you relatively quickly, but they are multiple choice. You can answer on the device that you're playing on. When you answer the questions, it will automatically tell you whether you're right or wrong and tally up your points. We'll be able to see who wins off the back of that. So no exchanging of slightly grotty and erased papers in a pub. This is all digital, all very, very useful. Please get in touch on Twitter. We are at Carfection on Twitter. Use the hashtag CFQuiz and we will see you. Yes, Tom, I believe you were on last time as well. You've just posted a picture of you drinking looks like a Moretti beer. Thank you very much for joining us. We very much appreciate it. We'll give shout outs to people posting pictures of themselves watching us on Twitter as we go along. But I think we're getting to about the time we should start the quiz, Henry.
I think so.
I think so. Right. Absolutely. Now, as soon as I click on this, you should be given a prompt.
I'm going to put the link in the comments as well, just in case.
Yes.
Slides. Try and get it right.
Now, I believe, Henry, if I go on to the next part, it should be at the point where everyone gets a name. Waiting for players to join. Yes. Everyone is asking for the link. Right. I believe the link is in the description. Oh, it's not.
Right. Yeah. So we're on the screen now where people can enter their name.
Okay. Yes, we have people joining us immediately. That's fantastic. .com / there was meant to be a line in the description, but there isn't now. Right. slides.com / We'll give you a couple of minutes here, so don't rush. Get yourself in. Make sure you pick the right avatar, the right emoji for you. Remember, we will be judging you based on what you pick. Was it Sausage? Was it Sausage Lord last time that we had it was doing particularly well? I believe he's back.
I want to know if my left sideburn is back as well.
Yeah, Henry's left sideburn did particularly well. We have Morgan Three-Wheeler. I'm seeing Sean Redmond, Bill Massey, Justin, someone going by the immaculate YouTube handle of Poopsex. Thank you for that. Vince B, Chenka, Johnny Q86, Raul, FinFan, Peter 8171, Wood, Rossi J84. I'm seeing a couple of names there from before. Matt B, Dave T, Andrew, Ali. I'm not going to try and pronounce that. I'll get it wrong. Sam, Daunt, Jasmine, Pickle, Joe, Squelch UK, Rental Snake. Rental Snake sounds good. I like the sound of that. We're going to leave that up for just a few more minutes, give you a couple more for anyone left in the room who hasn't joined up. ahaslides.com / CFQuiz2. Let's see that. I don't know. Yes, we'll keep that going in the comments. If anyone is having any difficulty, please let us know in the YouTube comments. But we will be starting in just a few minutes. Yeah.
First round is going to be general knowledge.
First round is general knowledge. What are the rounds, actually? There's general knowledge, and then is it all cars after that? Different varieties?
Pretty much, yes. Yeah, so I thought we'd go general knowledge. Then we would go to cars, sort of more generally, and then we're going to motorsport, and then it's the picture round to finish off. So.
Okay, wow. We are getting to 200 players joining, waiting to join. Very good. We've got a couple more people watching than joining, so we'll give it just another minute while everyone gets ready. Three Shaws drinking Stella. Good for you. I was having a Heineken. Where did I put it? Right. We should get a beer sponsor for this next time we do it so we can actually be fully equipped.
So just so things get even more interesting.
Well, the thing is
wild as my lockdown hair.
Yes, but you haven't grown a lockdown beard.
I did, and then I shaved it off because it was just getting too long and irritating. So yes, I got rid of that.
You were emerging from the house like a caveman, like a primordial human from the cave from which we first dwelled. Right, I think it's about time for us to get started.
Yep.
If everyone is ready, we are going to get started with round number 1. I'm going to click on start the quiz. Fingers crossed it will actually go to the first question and not to the second one. Did that work? Question 1 of 40. Right.
Oh, Wolverine.
Yes. Remember, it's even if you're joining us right now, it's not too late to join in on your phone. Go to ahaslides.com/CF quiz 2. The link is.
We're all familiar with brake horsepower, but what unit is used to measure the height of horses? Foot, neck, hand, or finger? So get your answers in. Obviously, the quicker you answer, the more points you're eligible for. You know this one, Dre?
Yes, I believe it's hands, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, I agree with 132 people. I like the people who went for finger. You measure the foam on top of a beer by fingers. I used to be a barman in the Netherlands, and they would send beer back if it didn't have 2 full fingers of foam on top.
2 full fingers.
True facts. Right.
Excellent.
Question 3.
Question number 3. Here we are. Who holds the men's marathon world record? So, Eliud Kipchoge, Haile Gebrselassie, Mo Farah, or Phi-Dipides?
I have no idea. I do not engage in any kind of physical exercise at the best of times. During lockdown, I've actually put on a stone in weight.
Well,
too much cake, not enough walking.
Was the man who originally ran a marathon, and but it is Kipchoge.
Okay.
He currently holds the world record. He also did the sub 2-hour marathon as well, but he holds the actual record as well.
I'm really amazed that so many of you got that right. I mean, I don't know why I should be amazed, but for me, that would have been a guess. Number 4.
Question 4. In which century was the Boston Tea Party? 1600s, 1700s, 1800s, or 1900s? So trying to do questions from around the world as well. So I'm not trying to make it not too UK centric.
This was a criticism we had last time that it was too UK centric.
It won't be. And the answer was.
It was the 1700s. It was, of course, just prior to the American Revolutionary War, which, of course, started in 1776. I'm sure our American cousins all got that correct, right?
I'm sure, yes. Question 5. Carol Baskin is associated with which of the following programs?
I mean, this is very much of its time, this question. This is a very 2020 question.
I'm trying to be topical as well. So
this is a
Coronation Street, The Big Bang
topical.
Theory, Killing Eve, or Tiger King? Have you been watching any good box sets during lockdown, Drew?
Yeah, I've been catching up on all of Westworld. I was a big fan of the movie, but never watched the show, and I've now caught up with the show, and it's pretty good. So I'm up to season 3 now with the most people. Tiger King, of course it was Tiger King. Carol Baskin. There was a follow-up to Tiger King on Netflix, as she didn't appear in it. It was like where they were interviewing a lot of the people who appeared in the show, and she wasn't in there. Which did she kill her husband? Who knows? It's definitely a better story if she did. Question 6.
Question 6. Here we go. Borscht is a type of soup originating from the Ukraine. What vegetable is traditionally used as its main ingredient? The broad bean, the parsnip, the aubergine, or the beetroot?
Do we have any viewers from the Ukraine? Please let us know in the comments. I did some work in Kiev.
If you know the colour of borscht, then you'll know probably what this is.
Yeah, I worked in Kiev for a short amount of time. Yeah. Crazy
Did not
place.
Know that.
Beetroot.
3 days of school day.
There you go.
Quite a lot of people thinking parsnip.
I thought I would have gone with parsnip. I didn't have much borscht when I was in the Ukraine. Just drank a lot of vodka. Question 7.
Question 7. Which one of these words can be added to all 3 of these words? Gun, tip, and hat. Bobble, high, cat, or dop? So it's probably fairly easy. It's just a question of how quickly
I'm really struggling. I don't know. Is Top
Yes, you do,
gun,
Drew.
tip top, top hat.
There you go.
It was the word high. I couldn't get over hi hat. I was like, hi hat's a thing. And then I couldn't get any further with that. Of course, it's Top Gun. And there's a new Top Gun coming. Is that going to get delayed? Bubble gun.
I think it has been, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the idea of a bubble gun. Can we make that a word that we used? Question 8.
Question 8. Oh, possibly my favorite question. So here we go. Complete these song lyrics by Carly Rae Jepsen. Before you came into my life, I saw a little silhouette of a man. Never knew me a better time, and I guess I never will. Missed you so bad. Don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now.
Wow. I think between this and the questions last time, you're betraying a little bit of your musical taste there, Henry.
Yeah, probably.
Adding in some Carly Rae Jepsen. Who was number 1 when my daughter was born? Missed you so bad. A completely nonsensical lyric, but we love it all the same. Moving swiftly on.
First was obviously Queen, then Elton John, and the last one was Oasis. What is the collective noun for a group of owls?
Lots of owls.
Is it a parliament, a senate, a congress, or a dictatorship?
Oh,
I like the idea of a dictatorship of owls.
Yeah.
Except it wouldn't really work, would it? Lots of dictatorship of owls.
I don't know. I feel like a lot.
Could be one owl being in dictatorship.
A lot of the collective grouping names for animals don't make that much sense. What is it? A parliament.
Yes.
Again, we have very intelligent viewers or people who are able to Google really quickly. I'm very impressed. I would not be winning on this quiz at all. Palpatine is the only Senate.
Question 10, final one for the general knowledge round. Ariel, Umbriel, Miranda, Titania, and Oberon are all moons of which planet? Uranus, Jupiter, Neptune, or Venus?
I think I know this, but only because of all the Disney films that I've watched.
Okay. What are you going for?
I would have gone for Neptune.
And you would have been wrong.
Oh, because okay, this is my thinking. Ariel from The Little Mermaid is the daughter of, well, they call it King Triton, but that's basically the same as Neptune. I would have got that wrong. Someone has helpfully suggested that no, it's actually Uranus. Wasn't an option. Uranus was not an option. Any plans of doing a fans ask questions live? Well, we can take a couple of questions in between rounds and see how that goes. Depends on your questions. Poop Sex is in second place. That's great. So Callum, congratulations, Callum, with the family emoji. In at number 1, then Poop Sex, Minogue's Gold Shorts. Now there's a callback to the early noughties, if ever I saw one. Fredska in 3rd, Mitch K in 5th, Roz J 84, and Rodney Parsnips in 7. Let's go a little bit down the list and see who's down. Excellent job. This is extremely tight. 778, 775, 765. Very, very close. Still everything to play for. What was the most challenging film you've ever put together? Ooh, there's a question. What was the hardest one that we did? The most challenging environment.
The Senna film last year was pretty challenging, actually, in terms of just getting the access.
You're under a lot of pressure. Yeah.
A load of that stuff that actually pretty much all the on-track stuff was shot in 50 minutes in the lunch break of a track day. So that was possibly one of the most pressurized ones. It was also the Audi RS4 video we did not long after I joined, and that was fairly that was quite a lot of pressure just because there was no real time, flight was late, and then trying to find roads. And yeah, I was actually going to talk about that in another film at some point coming up. So yeah,
I thought we did the series of films on the M3s, which had its own difficulty in doing it, but was made all the more challenging on the way back when all of our gear was stolen from a car. So that not just created a challenge for the film itself, but for all films that we tried to do afterwards, trying to replace that, which was horrible. Sausage Lord is back and he's in 14th place. Excellent work, Sausage Lord.
Welsh UK is in 8th place. He asked for a shout out.
Oh, well, there you go. Squelch UK. Well done. Pedro Gravzes, Gareth 27. I'm seeing a lot of new names here who we haven't seen before. Henry is a teen wolf. Well, I get the wolf part, but teen, yeah, you're about 22, 23 years too late for that. Light Changers, Marcel.
Jake Chilton, hi Henry. I met you driving 911R at Bruntingthorpe. Hi Jake. Yes, I do remember.
There you go. Right, but there is everything still to play for.
Yes.
Yes.
You go for round two?
Yes, some people in the comments are accusing other people of cheating by Googling things. Remember, you get more points if you answer quicker. We are not saying you can't Google things. Hey, it's 2020. We all need to have a break, right? If you want to Google something, you go right ahead. But chances are you're not going to be first. I doubt very much you can win this quiz by Googling answers. Worth a go. You might have got a few questions that you would have got wrong. Right. If that makes sense. Anyway, what's the next round, Henry? Because I think it's about time we click on to
that. Cars next. So
seems like a good idea. Here we go. Everything to play for.
Yes.
Did that just work? Doesn't look like it did. Click. Quick break back in 2 minutes.
We've done that.
We have done that. Let's go. Oh, but everyone's clicking on hearts. I'm liking the hearts, Henry. I do. It's a very nice, affectionate take for the viewers, just to no break for cheaters. They suck in life. I'm feeling in 2020 we all give each other a bit of a break. So there's worse things than Googling the answers to the Carfection quiz. But remember, you don't win by just getting it right. You have to be quick. Right, here we go.
Right.
Click. Round 2, cars.
Excellent. Good.
Why have I put myself in charge of the technical side? It's just horribly wrong. Question 11. Right, here we go.
Which of these is not a Hot Wheels car? So, Roger Dodger, Open Fire, Rear Loading Beach Bomb, or Sawmill? See how well you know you have got a film on with some Hot Wheels coming up, actually.
I don't know this. I do love a Hot Wheels. I do love a Hot Wheels. I would have gone with Sawmill.
And you'd be right.
Yeah. But much like our viewers, I believe that was a complete guess. So I'm not that not that surprised. That was a complete guess on mine. I figure you...
Twin Mill is obviously the one that was sort of referring.
See, I think it would have taken quite the brain to come up with rear loading beach bomb as a wrong answer. So I felt that was a bit most niche question ever. It was quite niche. Right. Question 12.
Question 12. What is the size of the V8 in a 2008 C63 AMG W204 generation? 4 litres, 6.2 litres, 6.3 litres, or 6.5 litres?
Oh, see, because you want to say 6.3, don't you? I mean, that would make the most sense. And I know after it went turbocharged, it went down to a 4.8. 6.3, go on. No, it's 6.2. Is that on a technicality? Is it like 6.245 or something like that? Or is it just...
It's genuine. It is 6.2. There's no questions, no sort of... It's not even close to 6 point, getting up 6.3. So...
Yeah.
And most people seem to know that's
what happened to properly named cars. I mean, if you're going to give it a number, at least make that number make sense. I'm looking at you, BMW, but Mercedes, you're bad too. Right, question 13, lucky 13.
Bruce McLaren, founder of McLaren Cars, was born in which country?
Now, obviously, Carfection fans will know this.
Scotland, Australia, New Zealand, or France?
We've done exactly 2 films on the origins of McLaren, one on the name and one on the person. So if you are a fan of Carfection, there are 0 excuses for getting this one wrong. You've got 2 seconds to figure it out, though. He is, of course, a Kiwi.
Yes.
Which is why the McLaren logo is the speedy Kiwi.
Exactly.
2 people said France.
Oh, well.
Question 14.
Question 14. The British car company Morgan famously uses wooden frames to cars, but what wood does it traditionally use? Oak, ash, elm, or willow?
Yeah, again, there is no excuse for getting this wrong if you are a true Carfection fan. We did my film recently talking about the new Plus 4. I mentioned this wood literally by name, and a car that hopefully, fingers crossed, will get a chance to drive as soon as we are allowed to do so. Ash. It is, of course, ash. Ash frame.
Yes. Ian Phillipson has to be called the 63 because it's over 6.2 litres and its German registered state capacity is next 0.1 litres. Well, I know it.
Yeah.
There we are.
But the point is that
Thanks
the 63 no longer has a 6.3. It went to a 4.8. So all of that like specificity went right out the window. And that doesn't explain any of BMW's naming conventions whatsoever. Right. Question 15. When this works. 15.
Here we go.
Is that stalled on 14?
Anytime now.
15. There we go.
There we are. Which supercar manufacturer is based just outside Castelfranco Emilia near Modena in Italy? Lamborghini, Ferrari, De Tomaso, or Pagani? So they are all based in that area.
Yeah.
Which one is based near Castelfranco Emilia?
Now I would make a guess and I'd probably get this wrong, even though I've been to the area many times.
Go on then.
Well, I've seen the answer. It's Pagani.
No.
Which is what I would have guessed, but I wasn't 100% sure. And I have been there. I've been to the factory. In fact, I don't know if you can see. You can't. It's just out of frame. If I move that there on my wall, it's just out of frame. You can't see it.
I can't see that. I can't hear you now either.
Can I move that up like that? That is a picture of Horacio Pagani signed to Mr. Drew Stern, Horacio Pagani. He really liked the film that we made on him, and he sent me that in the mail, which is one of my prized possessions. Just showing off there a little bit. Right, moving on. Question 16.
Question 16. The Vogue, Outback, and Forester are models of car made by which manufacturer? Isuzu, Subaru, Mitsubishi, Jeep.
Again, I feel like there's a real kind of curve in the difficulty on some of these questions. Some of them are a lot harder. Maybe that's one of the things. If you know it, you know it, and if you don't, you don't.
Exactly.
Giovanni's finally got one right, which he seems quite happy about. Time is up. Of course, it's Subaru. Just the Forester alone should have made that one easy. Question 17.
Question 17. Okay. In the Porsche lexicon, X51 is associated with what option? Power kit, gold paint, aero kit, the secret convertible version of the Cayman. Somebody always asks it whenever a Cayman gets launched. Is there going to be a convertible version?
Do they actually ask that?
People ask, is it going to be a hardtop version?
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Of course, the secret convertible version of the Cayman is the Boxster. If you didn't get that joke, and I think 16 of you didn't. Moving on, question 18.
Question 18. Peugeot famously has a lion on its badge, but which other car manufacturer also has a lion on its badge? Vauxhall, Jaguar, Holden, or Pontiac?
That's a great question.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, because also there's a bit of a half trick in there as well. Because I think you might be immediately drawn to one of them, but it's not a lion. Because Vauxhall has got, I believe, a griffin on there, which is half lion, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, but it's not. Of course, it's Holden.
Yep.
I think 76 people fell for that little trick there, Mr. Catchpole. Question 19. Vauxhall is a griffin. Yes, indeed.
The Aston Martin Valhalla, otherwise known as Son of Valkyrie, will be powered by what type of engine? V12, V10, V8, or V6? So the news was out not that long ago about this. We did mention it in our initial walk around, but they have subsequently come out and shown us a bit more about the engine. So there we are.
See, that's a weird split. Most people getting it right, to be fair, but a very large amount of people going, no, it's 2012, we're going for a V12. Unfortunately, very few cars are still going to be coming out with V12 engines. They're definitely not by manufacturers like Aston Martin on cars like that.
The Valkyrie obviously will have its V12. So
yeah, there is that. Then again, one of the classic films on the channel is listening to the engine of that spin up, which is quite spectacular. Right, moving on. Question 20.
Question 20, final one of this round. Which of the following cars has the lightest curb weight? This is always so McLaren F1, Clear 182 Cup, Lotus Evora 410 Sport, a current world rally car.
Just any of them. any rally car. I genuinely don't know the answer to this. They're all going to be pretty close, right?
They're relatively two are particularly close. The first two are particularly close, but it is in fact Clio 182 Cup.
Okay, then put me out of my misery. What is the curb weight of a 182 Cup?
1,070 kilos.
And an F1?
1,138 kilos. The LM is just lighter than the Cup, but the standard McLaren F1 is heavier.
Wow, you can't get
World Rally Car 1190 and Lotus Evora 1361 kilos.
That's crazy. That is crazy that a Lotus weighs that much. Nuts. Colin Chapman spinning in his grave. Right. Poopsex has managed to maintain his position in number 2, which is adequate for someone with poop in their name. But Fredsky has now taken the number 1 slot with a dart. Minogue's Gold Shorts, Ross J84 are all top performers, both rounds so far. Crimbo, Gareth 27, and Carl Hagman again. I guess that's a reference to him being in there last time. Not just that he's renamed himself twice. Neil Peter. Oh, I've gone too far. Rodney Parsons, Miniman. Yes, Sausage Lords 1 or 2. Come on, Sausage Lords. My money is on you pulling through in the last couple of rounds for the win. Just because I love that name. Stradale Trofeo. Nice. Sam, Ninja Chicken, James, Sandy Boy will pin there. These are all Pedro Simidi. I'm not going to read you all out, but there you go. You're all doing extremely well. And if you're in the top 100, especially, everything to play for. But who knows? And if you've just joined us, you can still join in. ahaslides.com/CF quiz 2. You can still join in, throw your points into the mix, and if you get everything right, who's to say you can't win? While we're here, we can still answer a few more questions. It is strong scores at the top. If there's anyone who has any questions, well, we have a brief pause. Let me just take that off. Half time. So we've got 2 more rounds after this. What is the next round?
The next round is motorsport. So it's not just F1. I know I saw somebody earlier going, "Oh, it's just going to be F1." I'm going to get on it, but it's very much definitely not just F1 focused.
We did
all around the world.
Yeah, we did have a lot of people throwing in their F1 commentary, so it does feel like we have some F1 fans in there. But you know, knowing you, I'm sure it'll be varied and interesting. I haven't previewed this quiz apart from 1 or 2 questions just to make sure it was working. Most of these questions are coming as a surprise to me as well. I'd just like to say thank you very much all for joining us. This is as much for our own mental health as it is just for entertaining you, but it's great to connect with all of you out there in real time and get to feel the love from all of our amazing fans. Best hot hatch under £5,000. That's a very small bracket of cars to get a hot hatch. I presume they also mean second hand. If you had 5,000 to spend right now on a hot hatch, what would you be going for? Well, what hot hatch could you, what new hot hatch could you get? What any hatch could you get under £5,000?
Don't think you get one from £5,000, but for second hand in the UK, I'm thinking. Well, obviously there is the Clio 182, which I love, hence the fact I own one. Original Mini, or not original new Mini, so the supercharged one of those. The Cooper S was really good. You can get one of those for under £5,000. I'm not sure if you can get a Clio 200 for under £5,000. Probably can just about sneaking one, but you've got to watch out for the gearboxes on those. But they are an awful lot of fun if you can find one of those as well.
Someone has suggested a used Type R. I'm not sure you could get a used Type R. We're talking the previous gen, right?
But yeah, EP3. I mean, yeah, fantastic car. I could get one for that money. What other questions have you got?
Someone's asking about the Holy Trinity. Which out of the Giovanni Snyder is asking LaFerrari 918, Spider, or P1?
So I stick with 918 was my pick of those because I thought that given that they were all based around hybrid, I felt it did the best job of actually incorporating hybrid into the system. The fact you genuinely could use the electric system to trundle around quietly, so you can not disturb the neighbours if you have any neighbours and you own a 918 and trundle out in the morning. And you got that fantastic sound from those top exit exhausts as well. Also slightly qualified by the fact that I still would have a 458 Speciale over a Ferrari. I'd have a 675 LT over a P1, and I'd have a GT3 RS 4 litre or 3.8 over the 918. So that's sort of
and they've all dated better than those cars have in terms of design and in terms of performance, and it's amazing how quickly the technology's gone forward. Because think of how long the McLaren F1 held like the speed records for and all those kind of high scoring top trump scores, and then look how quickly the Holy Trinity have kind of been left in the dirt by subsequent generations of cars by a huge margin as well. So it's crazy times we live in.
Should we move on to motorsport?
Let's.
That's enough time for everyone.
It should be quick. Hello to you guys from Matt, Kel, Daniel, and Maisie in Durham. Thank you very much. Let's go. Round 3, motorsport, as we've already established. Question 21.
Question 21. In which year were the chicanes first introduced on the Mulsanne Straight at Le Mans?
That's a good question.
1985, 1990, 1995, or 2000? I spaced the options for answers out here a bit because I originally went very close indeed, but thought it was better to space them out a bit.
I obviously the Mulsanne Straight, because there were cars just built to get that top speed on the Mulsanne Straight, which is now not as easy to get. 1990, I would have got that right. I'm glad about that, because it was, I think the current record was set like 88. The top speed record, which was 412 or something kilometers an hour, something ridiculous. It was in the late 80s, so I knew it couldn't have been 85. Brilliant question. Right, 22.
22. What does the winner of the Indy 500 traditionally drink in victory lane after the race? Is it water? Is it champagne? Is it bourbon? Or is it milk?
I believe I know the answer to this, but I
decide that first, and then
I believe I know the answer to this, but I can't remember why. I know there's an interesting reason behind it.
It's all to do with sort of the advertising. Somebody originally drank some buttermilk back in the day, and then advertisers, the Milk Marketing Board got hold of it and saw it and thought, yes, that's fantastic, and then it sort of spiraled on from there until it became a tradition. So,
yeah, it is, of course, milk. I mean, I'll be honest, on a hot day, once you've been in a racing car for hours on end, milk is a bad choice, to coin a phrase. MLG Beanstalk says, did you guys know Le Mans was the first place to drink champagne on the podium? Yes, we did. Another fact that has been discussed on Carfection before. Right. Where's my arrow gone? That's annoying. Okay. it's talk amongst yourselves. Oh, there we go. That should work. 23.
There we go. Question 23. Only one driver can claim to have beaten Sebastian Loeb over the course of a full WRC season. Who is that? Is it Petter Solberg? Is it Mikko Hirvonen? Is Sebastian Ogier or Marcus Gronholm?
Wouldn't be a Henry quiz without
a
rally question in there, yeah. I wouldn't know this. I am again, I'm a bad human, so I just like watching rally crashes because I'm a bad human being. I would guess for Ogier if I had to guess. Is that frozen for you guys as well?
No, it's not.
Stuck on 3 seconds.
Sebastian Ogier.
This seems to have seized up. Oh, time's up. Right. Okay, Peter Solberg. But I am slightly consoled in the fact that most other people would have guessed wrong along with me. So there is some solace in that fact. Right.
The key is over a whole season, so because Sebastian Ogier never beat.
And which season was that?
It was when Solberg won his title, so 2003, I think.
There you go. Question 24.
Which current Formula One driver was taken out by Simon Pagenaud in an IndyCar iRacing challenge recently? Was it Max Verstappen, Lando Norris, Lewis Hamilton, or Alex Albon? So this was all over the news last week.
Did you do that British thing where you pronounced Max Verstappen like people think Verstappen is pronounced Verstappen and they think they're being authentic, whereas that's not how Dutch people pronounce Verstappen. It's just a normal S.
I'm glad for once I perhaps haven't got a pronunciation horribly wrong. So that's nice.
Lando Norris, which does indeed sound like a Welsh town. Lando Norris. Moving on. Question 25.
Question 25. Jonathan Rea won his 5th World Superbike Championship in 2019, making the most successful rider ever. Who did he take that title away from? Carl Fogarty, Colin Edwards, Troy Bayliss, or Troy Corser?
Sausage Lords 102 says this is taxing. So we're really putting them through the ringer this week, Henry. Again, motorcycle racing is not my forte, but building them in.
Who did you go for?
I pulled something in my shoulders. So it's hard for me to lift things up. Building this is though. Remember, follow us on social to build that later.
This rider certainly rode a Ducati. Lots. So.
Carl Fogarty.
Carl Fogarty.
Right. Moving on. Question 26.
Which driver won the inaugural W Series Championship in 2019? Was it Jamie Chadwick, Alice Powell, Martin Garcia, and then Emma Kymiläinen?
Of course, the W Series is the all-female racing series. What spec cars do they ride? It's single seaters, isn't it? Like Formula 4, Formula 3 kind of cars.
Formula 3000, I think.
Yeah.
Like that. So.
Of course, it was Jamie Chadwick. Fairly dominant in women's racing as she is.
Yes.
Question 27.
Here we go. Which of these corners would you tackle first on a lap of the Monaco Grand Prix circuit? Tabak, Rascasse, Saint-Devote, Anthony Noge.
Yeah, I'm so
corners are familiar with them, but
yeah, I'm really bad at corners, so I know where they are. I'm trying to think which is the first one. See, I don't think it's Tabak or Rascasse because those are right at the end. Well,
you're right.
At least I would have narrowed it down. I walked the circuit at the end of last year. It was on a Bentley event for the Flying Spur launch, and I got to walk around the track just on foot, and it was brilliant just seeing it in person and getting to see how tight it actually is.
Yeah,
quite the experience. Glad I wasn't there on my own dime though. That's an expensive place.
Yeah, 77 if you're getting that right, Saint-Devote. If you saw a white flag in a NASCAR race, what would it mean? So if you did the quiz last week, you'll get this. Shake and bake, snow forecast, last lap, safety car.
I like the idea that there's a flag for shake and bake.
I thought you'd appreciate that.
The official shake and bake flag. Just point at you. You, shake and bake. Obviously, that's a reference to Talladega Nights, which if you haven't seen, shame on you. Last lap. Yes, it is.
We watched that Paris Motor Show one year, staying in an Airbnb. I remember.
What, with us or with a
So
previous publication?
no, with you.
With us?
Really
Did we?
remember.
I forget all these.
Last lap, of course.
It's like, I know it was probably only a year or two ago, but it seems like a lifetime ago that we were going to trade shows. It's a different world, man. Question 29.
Question 29. Which actor famous for playing Derek McDreamy, Shepherd in Grey's Anatomy, finished second in class at Le Mans in 2015? George Clooney, Brad Pitt, Ryan Gosling, or Patrick Dempsey?
Was this as a driver or as an owner?
He was a driver in that year.
I do know the answer to this purely because I saw him at Le Mans one year, but this was when he was there as a person running the team, not driving. Patrick Dempsey.
You're a fan, aren't you? Face it. Just own up. It's fine.
I have never seen an episode of Grey's Anatomy, and the only thing I believe I've seen Patrick Dempsey in is he's in like a Disney movie or something. He's in one of the Transformers movies where they use Jay Leno's garage as like to be like his garage, and it looks pretty epic in that. And there's like, is it Enchanted? There's a Disney princess movie that he's in. My daughter likes. Those are the only things I know him from, and the fact that he's got a racing team. So every time we're at Le Mans, have they said on whether or not Le Mans is happening this year? I don't think they've officially like cancelled it yet for this year, but it seems very
up in the air, isn't it? Still, so.
I mean, you look at how many hundreds of thousands of people go to that thing. Seems unlikely. Anyway, before I get lost in the sadness of all the stuff we don't get to do this year, moving on. Question 30.
So the final one of the motorsport round. So if you don't like motorsport, it's nearly over. The 12-mile 500 is a race for what?
Ooh.
It's amazing if anyone knows this straight out. Lawnmowers, cars with trailers, monster trucks, aircraft engine, mobility scooters.
I mean, aircraft engine, mobility scooters. I just want to see that.
There should be a.
There's that apocryphal tale of the person who strapped a JATO engine to his pickup truck and launched it into a mountain. Lawnmowers, of course. But aircraft engine mobility scooters, I kind of want to see where that goes. Reminds me of stuff from Robot Wars. That would be awesome. Right, so how Le Mans was postponed to September, someone is saying in the comments. And that same person also said Sterling Moss used to narrate Rory the Racing Car, which was a question in the last quiz. Right, let's see the scores on the doors. Loading the results. Oh, Poop Sex has been knocked from number 2. I should stop saying Poop Sex. Fredska is still holding on to the number 1 slot. Ross J84 is still up there. Johnny Q86, Peter 8171. Oh, Poop Sex is down in 5. Minogues, Gold Shorts, and Crimbo making up the top 7. 7 seems a relatively arbitrary number of people to put on that first slide. I'm not sure why, but well done to all of you. Someone in the questions is asking, has anyone asked us what our ideal 3-car garage is? And I feel that's like the eternal question, right? The one that we should all have stock answers to, but I never do.
But no, because it changes all the time, doesn't it, really? So we have actually got a sort of an idea for a bit of a film coming out, kind of based around that, but sort of twisting it in our own way. So I always sort of say, basically, if I ever get asked that question, or sort of favorite car question, is if I won the lottery, I would walk out the next morning and buy a GT3. So I'm sort of not necessarily possibly. I'm really quite liking the idea of a 997 Gen 1 GT3 at the moment. I've got a real hankering for
a 997.
Yeah, 997 Gen 1 G3, which is the kind of the Gen, so it's the one with the 3.6.
Yeah.
And it was slightly more road biased than the Gen 2 997 with 3.8 in it. And I really like them. But anyway, that's all.
So that, and then Henry would donate the other 2 cars to lucky viewers. That's his 3-car garage. Let's have a quick look through the rest of the top 10. Neil BWR, Carl Hagman again, Squelch UK, Miniman, Hamir Thepar again, Blakey. Excellent. I'd also like to see in the comments how many of you were here last time. Give us a quick Cullinan, Chiron, and 812 GTS as your ideal 3-car garage. I feel there's quite a bit of overlap between those. you're not really stretching your practical part there. You're going to really struggle getting to the shops on a daily basis. Throw in an RS6 there. That'd be easy. Orange or green, Henry?
I think Paul's possibly referring to the 997 Gen 1 GT3 RS, which I would go green. I'd probably go black with the green decals, actually. But yeah, I'm just talking standard GT3, not RS.
Yeah. Someone saying 917 300 SLR Bugatti Divo. Oh, man, that's a weird mix. I mean, I think RS6 always has to be in the mix. Track day toy like a BIC mono has to be in there, and then I don't know, Phantom. There you go. There's my 3. RS6, Phantom, and a BIC mono. You couldn't get 3 different cars between them. Really, you couldn't. Ninja Chicken making up number 16. Not here last week, was here first time here. So yeah, I think we've got about a half and half split. But people are seeming to like this. It might be time to do these maybe fractionally more regularly. Maybe we can do one again next week. If everyone is up there, yeah, because it was about 2 and a bit weeks. Would people be up for if we did one this time next week? Let us know in the comments and we can certainly get that arranged. Now, I believe there's only one round left. Is that correct, Henry?
Yes, one round left, which is the picture round.
A picture round. So please do make sure that whatever you can see, whatever screen you have it. I just kicked the leg of my table, which is not the sturdiest of tables, and everything wobbled. That was worrying. Right. Okay, we are going to go into the picture round now. As I said, it's a picture round. Make sure you have your device where you can see it clearly. The pictures will be up before the question, and then they'll be up during the question, but you need to make your decisions quickly.
You're a devoted follower of both Carfection's Instagram account, which is at Carfection Films, and a few of these pictures are from my Instagram account, which is at Catchball. So yes, if you follow those, then you might have a slightly better chance.
I can just imagine a lot of people jumping over to those Instagram accounts right now to try and get the edge.
They're going to have to scroll through everything to find it anyway. So.
But before they can, let's go for it. Now, with all of these, it's simply what is the car. Is that correct, Henry?
Yes. Yeah. Just guess the car from the photo.
Okay. Well, without further ado, then.
Still get options.
Let's do it. Guess the car. Okay. Right. What have we got up first? Now that's a very kind of iconic detail of this car. Again, it's one of those, you know it or you don't, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. You hopefully sort of. So is it a Ferrari F8 Tributo, Ford GT, Lamborghini Huracan Evo, or the Zinger 21C? So a couple of people saying, could we review the Zinger 21C? And yes, it would be good to go and try and drive that at some point in the future.
Absolutely. Time is up.
Interesting thing.
Ford GT. I mean, it's that roof line. I think that kind of really sharp line replacing the C-pillar. Very, very iconic on that indeed. Right. Well done. 157 of you got that absolutely right. Well deserved. On to the next one. Oh, that's the whole picture, obviously.
You get the whole picture now. So, yes.
Is that from your Instagram account?
I think it's from the Carfection one, actually.
Here we go. Number 32. What have we got here? Oh. Well, that's a very pretty detail. Very iconic. If you know it, obviously it's a Ferrari.
Ferrari. Is it a Testarossa though? Is it a 348? Is it a 328? Or is it a 288 GTO?
Again, another company that has very differing approaches to how it names cars. Sometimes it's displacement. Sometimes it's, horsepower, whatever. All over the place. 288 GTO, of course. It's the rear haunch, isn't it?
The Windrush car storage facility, in fact.
There you go.
Video on that on the channel.
Gorgeous angle. Absolutely gorgeous. Right.
One of my favourite cars of all time. Question 33. Here we go. So we've got a wheel here.
I think the Steely gives it away. For me, instantly.
Yeah, well, Peugeot 106 Rally, Land Rover Series 2, Suzuki Jimny, Land Rover Defender.
I mean, it's potentially because
it's all about speed as well, not just.
Well, a lot of people liked this film and the subsequent film we did on this car, so I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people got this right. Yes, of course they did. It's the color as well on the body.
Yeah, no,
you don't really get that color on a Peugeot.
106,
yeah,
is it? So,
unless you drove it through a swamp. There you go. There's the whole thing. Yeah, those Steelies are definitely the choice I would go for on that car. Way better than.
Yeah, they divide opinion, though, don't they?
Yeah, but I think it's nice to have a car that looks good on Steelies, and that car does. Right, on to the next one.
Question 34. What is this?
Definitely a lot more sci-fi than the Defender, even though the new Defender does look very modern.
Exactly. Is it a Pininfarina Battista, Ferrari F8 Tributo, Lotus Evija, Rimac C2?
It's gorgeous, whatever it is, isn't it? It is very, very nice indeed. And we have a film on this on the channel as well. Of course, it's the Evija. People are doing very, very well on this. What does GTO stand for? What does GTO stand for?
GT Omologato.
So no H in Italian for homologato? See, that was easier than I thought.
Omologato is with an O in Italian. So.
Omologato. Yeah. Right. Moving on. Are any of these coming up that you think that's going to catch everyone out? Because everyone's been doing really well on this round so far.
Yeah, I've put a few trickier ones in, hopefully. Sort of, I was unsure as to how tricky to go, so yeah, I can make it more difficult next time. But people find the most sport round tricky, so perhaps it's easy.
Okay. We've got some people who said the quiz has stopped and it's loading slow. I'm just going to give everyone a second for that to catch up. But we are going to go on to the next one. Here we go. Question 35.
So this is perhaps a trickier one. You might certainly not know it instantly. Again, you might have seen the film on the channel. Is it an Opel Manta 400? Is it an Audi Quattro, a Ford Escort Mark II, or Romeo SZ? How well do you know your box arches?
If we hadn't done a film on this, I'm not sure I would have got it right. But because we have done a film on it relatively recently, I am aware of what it is. Of course, and our viewers do as well, brilliantly. So this is very much about how quickly you can score points on this, because I think that's going to make a big difference. There is that back end. It's epic, and the film is on the channel. Do a search for Opel Manta 400.
I think there's another photo of the front of it, in fact, as well on the next slide. So
just to there you go. Right, moving on into the host now.
What's that?
I know, but only because we're filming it. That's
an LCC rocket. Grid Scorpion.
I went for a walk around where I live. Over owns a Tiger, like pretty obscure little Caterham style cars. LCC rocket, of course it was. We've got 2 films on the channel done on that relatively recently. That fascinating little car. Henry asked, was it too light? If you want to find out, watch the film. Yeah, I mean, LCC does stand for Light Car Company, and it's made by and then I started that sentence and his name completely escaped me. The F1 designer.
Gordon Murray.
Gordon Murray.
2 people behind it.
Mine just
and that headlight pops up. Cool. Anyway.
Right. Question 37.
Yeah. What's it from? So I think that's a bit trickier.
That is a bit trickier.
Is it an Aston Martin Vulcan, a Porsche GT3 RS, a McLaren Senna, or a Radical Rapture?
See, I thought I knew, and then I second guessed myself, and then I wasn't too sure. It looked like the back of the Senna, if I had to guess.
It is.
It is the back of the Senna, yeah. Thank God for that. Yes, when you see it like that, it seems obvious, but in the moment, it was Gordon Murray T50. Thoughts? Well, it'll be nice when we actually see it properly. And if it actually comes to fruition. I mean, that initial sketch that they sent out was gorgeous and very interesting, and everything he does is of note. Quite interested in his kind of the work he's doing on those extremely lightweight chassis, which I believe the new TVR Griffin is meant to be built on. I forget what the platform's called. But yeah, the T50.
Whether we ever see that.
Yeah. Who knows? It's a changed world. Same goes for the T50.
Indeed.
Will we see it? Who knows? Question 38. Ooh.
What is that the nose of? Is it a Jaguar E-Type? Is it an MGB? Is it a Porsche 904? Or is it an Aston Martin DB5?
I'm a bit stumped on that. The colour's throwing me.
Oh.
That seems
taken at the I can't remember, it was a members meeting or a revival down at Goodwood last year. So
Jaguar E-Type. Is that a Jaguar colour? Or is that just a
so the nose band is different to the rest of the car.
Right.
So, that's probably through.
Yeah.
It's a very famous, possibly the most famous Jaguar E-Type, being cut 7.
It looks it's a little bit lighter than the kind of Acuria Cos racing livery that they had in their cars. Question 39. Penultimate question. Oh, there you go.
What's that?
Spot that a mile off. But
You'll
that's just
that.
me. I know
Is
that.
It a BAC Mono, a Caparo T1, Caterham 7, or an Ariel Atom?
Very distinct. The suspension on this. Instantly recognisable, of course, as the BAC Mono. Boom.
Could have been Caparo T1. It was quite pretty similar, actually.
Did that have the same flooring, though?
No. Kind of, it was. But...
Yeah, and there's the whole picture. That flooring, the way that's linked up, that is quite unique. On the original prototype that I drove initially of that, it was carbon fiber, and then of all subsequent ones they made of the original, it was plywood. But it's not anymore. It's and of course there's a new one, a new BAC Mono that hopefully at some point we'll get to drive. Who knows when?
Final question.
Gorgeous car. Right. Last one.
What is that? So, is it Porsche 718 Cayman GTS 4 litre, Porsche 981 Cayman GT4, Porsche 718 Cayman GT4, or Porsche 991 Gen 1 911 GT3 RS?
I mean, I was happy that I spotted it as being Porsche, but that clearly wasn't going to do it. I'm not sure I would have got that right. I mean, I could tell it was mid-engined, but out of the Cayman lineup, I would have struggled to get it right. Of course it was, though, the GT4. Wow. Another excellent quiz, Henry. Thank you very much.
Not at all.
So Stuart Clark got 9 out of 10. Right. Shall we see who's won? Who's your money on?
Oh. Kind of knows gold shorts.
Fredsky, he's basically led since round 2 onwards. I think general knowledge wasn't your forte, but poop emoji Fredsky is 2,997 points. Congratulations, well done. Thank you everyone for participating. That has been the second Carfection quiz. We really appreciate you following along, joining in. It's been an absolute pleasure having you join us of this nice Wednesday evening. And if you've enjoyed it, we would like to invite you back. I guess unofficially we're now saying maybe next week to try and get people back. Is that right, Henry?
Maybe the week after. It might have to be a 2-week thing. Depends how many cars we get to drive the next.
This is true. There's, as you may know, in the UK it's an ever-changing situation. So we will keep you posted on that. We will definitely put up by Monday if there's any new dates. and to stay on top of everything that we're doing, remember to follow us on all the social networks at Carfection on Twitter, at Carfection Film on Instagram, and find us on Facebook. Just search for Carfection. You can follow my footlock friend, Mr. Henry Catchpole, at Henry Catchpole across the board, and I am at Drew Stern, DrewStearne. It's very hard to spell. Very few people get it right. Thank you all so much. And obviously this list goes on and on. Ross J84 in second place, Johnny Q86, Carl Hagman, Minogue's Gold Shorts coming in a very respectable fifth. Poop Sex number 6. Where did you go, man? I really had you in for number 2 for the entire thing, just so I can make that joke. Crimbo in 7th. Can I go down? Yes. Peter 8171, Neil, Amir, Thapar, Rodney Parsnips, BW, Gaff 27, Mayman 55, Rodney Blakey, Stewart DXB, Rob McGee, and Serge, Eric Soderbergh, and Sam make up the top 20. Did you do better than last time? Let us know in the comments right now. I'm in the middle. Yes, I would have been somewhere near the bottom early. Freddie Skeet says, woo. Are you Fred Skeet? That would make sense if you were Fred Skeet. Yes, congratulations. Well done. Was that purely speed, a lot of guessing, or did you actually know all your stuff? I like to think that our fans knew most of those off the bat. Though there were some tricky ones there. The Cayman stumped me. Yeah, that threw me too, George. I was not completely on top of that. But yes, thank you very much. The time has come, just about to say goodbye. Thank you all very much for joining us. Thank you for staying with us on the channel. We really appreciate all of your support during very, very difficult times. We have a great film coming to the channel on Friday, a special Ferrari film on the 488 Pista that Henry and Charlie have worked exceptionally hard on, and it is well worth checking out. And we've got a whole raft of other interesting things coming to the channel very, very soon, as well as a bunch of films that went out recently that we talked about earlier, perhaps before you joined, that are also well worth checking out. I mentioned at Carfection for Twitter, at Carfection Films on Instagram. Give us a follow there. But for now, thank you so much for playing along with us, and I think all that's left to say is goodbye. See you later.
Cheerio.